It is pretty crazy to think of our favorite bands with different names. Imagine someone telling you that their favorite bands are Polka Tulk Blues Band, Duct Tape, and Fecal Matter. You probably would think that they are into some real underground stuff that no one has ever heard of before, or that they are just hipsters, but those are just some famous bands that happen to change their name for whatever reason. We will get into who those famous bands are in a minute, but first of all, welcome back to Mindspun, your channel for your music fix. Now let's get straight into our list, 15 famous bands who have changed their name. Maybe some of your favorite bands will show up in our list as well. At spot number 15, we have the Barenaked Ladies, previously known as Free Beer. And honestly, what a clever name. Imagine all the people that would fall into that trap by looking quickly at the bands that would play that night and just going to the show to try to snag some free beer. And after such a witty band name, it is now obvious what they thought might be better than free adult beverages. Simply genius. Next up on our list, we have the Beastie Boys at spot number 14, previously known as Young Aborigines. So their previous band name isn't as catchy if we are honest, but to be fair, they came up with their first name when they were teenagers, looking for something that sounded primitive. So, kids being kids, it's okay. But then, they changed it to the Beastie Boys, which is kind of a dumb name, but I think it represents the screw everything attitude that they are known for. So I think they made the right choice. Carrying on with our list, we have Black Sabbath at spot number 13, previously known as Polka Tulk Blues Band. The original name was then shortened to Polka Tulk. After that, they changed from Polka Tulk to Earth after a lineup switch. Then, after being mistaken by another UK band, they changed their name again from Earth to their final name, the one we all know and love, which was a great move since to me, Black Sabbath is one of the coolest band names there is. Imagine them being as huge as they are, being known as Polka Tulk Blues Band. Maybe they wouldn't have even reached that level of stardom that they have now. And in case you didn't know, Black Sabbath comes from the 1963 Mario Bava film of the same name, which happened to be playing across the street from their rehearsal space. Following up on our list, we have Blink-182 at number 12, previously known as Duct Tape. In Poway, California, Tom was introduced to Mark, who then asked drummer Scott Raynor to join the band, and thus Duct Tape was born. Then, they changed the name to Blink, but an Irish band already had that name, and to avoid the trouble, they added on the 182 in 1993. Where does the 182 come from? Well, it comes from the movie Scarface, since it represents how many F-bombs were dropped by Al Pacino during the movie. And I must say, it makes for a great story when asked about your band name. Next up on our list, we have Creed at spot number 11, previously known as Naked Toddler. Okay, damn. So, thankfully, their fans hated their first name as much as probably anyone else who finds out that was their previous name. It was based off a newspaper story, but as a tribute to their bassist Brian Marshall's previous band Maytox Creed, they changed their name, and the rest is history for this alternative hard rock band. At spot number 10, we have Goo Goo Dolls, previously known as the Sex Maggots. I did not see that coming, to be honest. But anyways, according to Forbes, the band was forced to find a new moniker when a club owner refused to put the old name on his marquee, which is understandable. So the boys flipped through a copy of True Detective magazine and settled on a change after finding an advertisement for a Goo Goo doll. And they probably wouldn't have ended up on the soundtrack for City of Angels if they had their previous name, so well done, boys. Following up on our list, we have Linkin Park at spot number 9, previously known as Zero. That previous name kind of reminds me of a printer or a fax machine or something like that. Anyways, if you take your time to dig through YouTube, you can find the demo sampler from Zero, which is from before they changed to Hybrid Theory, when Chester joined and created such chemistry with Mike Shinoda. Eventually, they landed on their final name, Linkin Park, as an homage to Lincoln Park in Santa Monica, California. As an interesting side note, they wanted it to be Linkin Park, but to get the domain name, they had to change it a bit. To continue on with our list, we have Maroon 5 at spot number 8, previously known as Karis Flowers. So, back in the 90s, they had a groupie with a crush on them. Her name happened to be Kara, and to her they were her flowers or something along those lines. And after a few albums and not getting that much attention, they changed their name, released songs about Jane, and boy did those flowers bloom into stardom. Next up on our list we have New Kids on the Block, previously known as Ninook. What? Okay, whatever. So, their original name was given to them by the man who discovered them. Okay, that makes sense. Maurice Starr. And Ninook was from Nanook of the North. Yeah, that's right. New Kids on the Block could have been known as Ninook. But thankfully, their debut album came out with their new name based on a rap song from Donnie. Imagine that. If they had not changed their name, I don't think they would have gotten anywhere as popular or as famous as they became. At spot number 6, we have Grunge King's Nirvana, previously known as Fecal Matter. So, the first premonitions of Nirvana were around 1987, with Cobain making a demo tape under the name Fecal Matter. Before putting out their first single at the end of 1988 as Nirvana, they went through multiple names: Skid Row, Fecal Matter, and Ted Ed Fred, to name a few. Not as good as Nirvana, but Ted Ed Fred is fun to say, that's for sure. And as a fun fact, Dave Grohl did not meet the band until 1990. To continue on with our list, we have Queen at spot number 5, previously known as Smile. And they always make me smile, that is for sure, but the previous name was lame. Anyways, before Freddie Mercury, the band was named after something that came out of a college project of their first singer and bassist, Tim Staffel. Sorry Tim, I'm just being honest. Then, as Freddie usually did, he came in and changed everything. And once the band was Queen, nothing was ever the same, but they kept smiling as their popularity and fame grew. At spot number 4, we have Pearl Jam, previously known as Mookie Blaylock. The original name of Pearl Jam was taken from NBA player Mookie Blaylock. They didn't have a band name, and they picked the point guard as a temporary name from a card that they bought using a per diem from their label. When things started to grow, they changed the name to Pearl Jam. And as an interesting side note, their album 10 was named after Mookie's number. Carrying on with our list, we have Pink Floyd, previously known as Screaming Odabs. Okay, so Roger Waters, Rick Wright, and Nick Mason first played as a 6-piece group called Sigma 6 in the early 1960s, before playing under the names the Maggots, the Screaming Odabs, Leonard's Lodgers, and the Spectrum 5 before becoming the T-Set in 1964. They remained under that name until they became the Pink Floyd sound at the end of 1965. And another one of my favorite band names ever, just so fun to say and it sticks in your head, Pink Floyd. We are down to our last 2, so at number 2 we have Radiohead, previously known as On a Friday. The guys in Radiohead, or as they were previously known, On a Friday, started jamming together in high school, and their practice time was, yes, you guessed it, on Fridays, after school. But after they started playing out, they weren't getting as many gigs as they wanted. Thinking it possibly had to do with their name, per their label's request, the band changed their name to Radiohead, which was taken from the song Radiohead from the Talking Heads album True Stories from 1986, which honestly was a great move since On a Friday is such a boring name. And last but not least, we have Red Hot Chili Peppers, previously known as, check this out, Tony Flo and the miraculously Majestic Masters of Mayhem. So possibly the coolest previous name of all time, they changed it to Red Hot Chili Peppers after 2 shows in 1983. Since Red Hot Chili Peppers was based around so many bands, but having a focus on something like Tom and the Red Hots or Chris and the Chili's, they just put them together. And it's an oddly normal name compared to their original, but I think it is much catchier, even though their first name was pretty cool, to be honest. And anyways, that is it. That is our full list. We hope you enjoyed finding out your favorite band's previous name. And it's interesting to see the reasons why the bands had to change their name, from labels telling them to do it, or venues not letting their name be on the marquee, or simply not getting noticed. One would think it is all about the music when you see huge bands with the most odd names, for example Korn, but as we saw, it depends from band to band. Also, Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our channel if you want to see more musical content from us, and we will see you all in the next episode. Stay safe, everyone.